What is good, Defenders, and welcome to your favorite pre-match segment here on Defenders of the Bank. It's time for one more sleep. Not too many of these left in the regular season, but this should be a fun one because we're taking on St. Louis City SC, or as I like to say, the Bavarian Scandinavian law firm of Teuscher, Hartel, Leuven, Klaus, and Berkey. That's right. Can't wait for these boys to come into BMO Stadium. You know my voice. It's the Scarf, J.R. Liebert. And we've got our own Bavarian hanging out with us all the time here on Defenders of the Bank. I give you, he just finished recording De Fußball Bros. That would be one Christian Philly Philemon, folks.
Hello, Los Angeles. But real quick, when did I become Bavarian? I may be from like another country, like New York, but I didn't think I was Bavarian. I root for a team in Bavaria, but that's making me Bavarian.
Yeah.
But nothing as clever as what you just said with that law firm thing. I might need you to just write that one down. Arguably the most clever, creative, and funny thing I've ever heard you call another team. It's usually me who comes up with the fun little nicknames for these sides, like FC Cincinnati's FC Skyline Chili, the Portland pesky pine trees, the New Jersey energy drinks. But you, my friend, might have been taking the taco on this Tuesday for best name for a team.
I do love some tacos. In case you guys are just getting in and you missed it, of course, that's the Bavarian Scandinavian law firm of Teuscher, Hartel, Leuven, Klaus, and Berkey. And yes, I did practice that a couple of times. Fat Kid, welcome. I are you? Nice. I like it. Hello.
Yeah, you've taken the funny pills today, my friend. Not to say that you aren't the funny one, but this is pretty good. This is pretty good. Another midweek melee matchup in Major League Soccer. You said it. We don't have too many more matches left. One more game on a Wednesday, and then decision day against the Smurfs on a Saturday. That's it until playoffs. And hopefully our team keeps this amazing run of form. Like to finish in the top 4 to where we can get playoffs at home. That would be ideal. St. Louis SC Scarf is a team that's never beaten us. We've only played them 3 times. We beat them 2-0 on the road earlier this season, May 15th. We drew them in St. Louis back last year 0-0, and then we whooped them 3-0 July the 12th, 2023. This isn't a team that I fear. When asked about St. Louis, my honest response is I don't care. But therein lies the problem, because hopefully our team doesn't think the same thing. A midweek matchup before we head on the road to play at Sporting Kansas City, and a rematch of the U.S. Open Cup final at Children's Mercy Park, where there will be facing the blue hell with Sporting Kansas City supporters. I don't care much for St. Louis, but I'm pretty sure they don't care too much about us either.
I am blown away that out of any team in Major League Soccer, you wouldn't at least be keeping one eye on a lot of what's going on in St. Louis City SC. I mean, you are the Bundesliga guy between the two of us. There are a couple of guys that play for the only Bundesliga team I care about, Union Berlin. Stoked about that. Former Union guys on this club. Guys that have played in Germany, guys that are from Germany. I mean, guys that sound like they're German. All kinds of stuff on this St. Louis City SC team. I thought for sure.
The German-sounding Brazilian, yeah, the list goes on and on.
I mean, this is kind of fun, man. It's a club that has, look, they have built their ethos on finding players from that particular part of the world and making it happen. Obviously, a lot of that has to do with the population and the people of St. Louis, trying to cater to that community as well. It's why we signed Carlos Vela, right? Let's be honest. So, look, there are lots of fun reasons to watch this matchup. The one that worries me the most, Philly, about this matchup is as you look at the standings in the conference, what worries me most about this matchup is the little E next to St. Louis, because now you've got a team that has nothing to play for except knocking us down a peg in the standings. We know we are going to get their best effort. It worries me a little bit, Philly.
That is a good reason to be worried, but you should also be worried because of the recent run of form that they've had. Their last 5 outings are far better than our last 5 outings. In fact, they've only lost 1 time in their last 5 games. I mean, they recently whooped up on Sporting Kansas City. They beat the Smurfs I mean, we're the only ones who can't seem to beat the Smurfs, it seems. They beat Minnesota United. Hell, they even beat Carson. So finally, somebody, beating up on Carson. So their run of form has been pretty good. They don't have any guys who absolutely thread it consistently in terms of scoring goals. 18 players for St. Louis SC have found the back of the net today. So they're very well balanced. They're a team, I don't know, in a rebuilding mode. But I would say their run of form, coupled in with the fact that they have nothing else to play for, they're like a wounded animal backed into a corner. And if there's anything that just based on that statement alone, a wounded animal is going to fight, claw, gnaw their way back. Think of them right now as a possum. They're playing dead, but in reality, they just want to lull you in and gut you.
Yeah, no, Philly, you mentioned it, 3-1-1 in their last 5. That would be all of the matches that they've played in September. We don't need to tell you how many more matches we have played, but an efficient team as of super late. Their last 2 matches, which, oh, by the way, their only back-to-back wins in 2024 and their first back-to-back wins since September of 2023. So a long time since back-to-back wins. In their 3-1 win over Sporting Philly, 3 goals, 4 shots on target. In their 2-1 win over San Jose, 2 goals, 2 shots on target. I don't need to do the math for you, but I will. That's 6 shots on target, producing 5 goals. Extremely efficient with the opportunities that they get, and they have not been a possession club as of late. Let's look at September, 3-1-1. 41% against the Galaxy in a win, 45% against New England in a draw, 43% against San Jose in a win, and 46% against Sporting in a win. Their only loss, where they lost 3-1 to Minnesota, they possessed the ball almost 60% of the time. So this is going to be a club that will want to give us the ball. I may allude to that later, but it's going to be interesting to see what they're able to do with the limited amount of chances that hopefully LAFC will be giving them.
And I agree. And they're also a team that is really lousy on the road. They've only won 1 game on the road. They're 1-6-8. And I'll be damned and we'll be damned and our team will be damned if we were going to make us number 2 for their thing. They just win at home in the grand scheme of things. 6-5-5 at home, much better team at home than on the road, which was the exact opposite for when we went to FC Cincinnati. Oddly enough, a better road team than they are at home, but not a good road team whatsoever, and not a good team this season. Last year, they're in their expansion year, their very first year. They surprised everybody. All the pundits assumed that they would finish dead last. They silenced all of us, although they did come back down to earth towards the end of the season and obviously got knocked out of the playoffs in a very competitive matchup against Sporting Kansas City. That's a rivalry that's real. Not so much just from the Major League Soccer sense, but a city rivalry as well. People from St. Louis don't like people from Kansas City and vice versa. Their teams hate each other. The Cardinals hate the Royals. The Royals hate the Cardinals. There is no football team there. The college teams hate each other. So that'll be a nice rivalry to look forward to down the road. But for the time being, they've got to think about us. And as their season draws down to a close, a positive for them would obviously be to beat a playoff-bound team as successful as us. So we have to take this game very, very carefully, regardless of what their records are and our head-to-head against them historically.
Yeah, it's interesting. You look at it one way, I look at it another. You mentioned their road record, 1 win, 6 losses, 8 draws. The way I look at it as they've actually come away with points on the road in 9 of their 15 matches this season. Those 8 draws for a team that is as poor as they are in the regular season, and you mentioned it, huge coming back down to earth. This is probably one of the more disappointing teams in all of Major League Soccer. If you look at what they did last year to this year, I just worry a little bit, Philly, that they've been able to secure 8 draws in 15 matches on the road. Maybe they're a club that kind of circles the wagons in a different way and plays for that draw, plays for that tie. I don't know. We'll have to see. And I think we're going to talk about quite a bit when it comes to our players to watch, how this club got a complete makeover on July 18th. A couple of players that were brought in. It's going to be interesting. I do want to mention, of course, the matchup that I'm most looking forward to that isn't on my players to watch, Philly. And this one, I mean, how much better does it get in terms of global icons with Roman Berkey against Hugo Lloris. I mean, these two guys have seen and done everything between the pipes over the last 15 years or so. How much fun is this matchup in Keeper?
I mean, that's quite a bold term to give Roman Berkey, global icon. Scarf, he only had 9 caps with Switzerland, and Switzerland isn't exactly a footballing international powerhouse. Sure, he had a good career at Borussia Dortmund, and by the way, tied to another team that might have ties to LAFC, and that of Grasshoppers. Interesting to hear more about what's going on the Grasshoppers side of things, but I would never put him in the same category as Hugo Lloris. Regardless of what anybody thinks of Tottenham, Tottenham's a much bigger club. I don't want to say a much bigger club. Maybe a much more valuable. I don't want to say that either. All right. On the international stage, France is far more successful than Switzerland. Let's just put it that way. But when you mentioned the fact that St. Louis is, had all these draws on the road, in my interpretation of things, as far as tomorrow night's concerned, the only draws we're going to be talking about is St. Louis's soiled draws, because we are going to kick the crap out of them.
No, I like it. Look, we definitely have a couple players that we want to watch out for. Why don't we get into the players to watch in this matchup? Because I think you and I, we circled July 18th. One of the reasons why we talk about July 18th is that is when they brought in Marcel, Rick, the mom Marcel, but Marcel, and this guy has been so good in the 6 matches that he has played in. 6 matches, goals, 5 assists, and we're talking about a guy that has played more throughout Germany, including Berlin, but I sport in this league. A big fell FC. That right. We're talking about a guy with 59 contributions and 107. I was really on the scene quickly. The designated cartel who came over July against 2 goals, 5 assists, and 6 matches. Of course, really only because I have no idea what position he's going to play in that. He play back, he play forward. I don't know. Decide to put we'll see. You guys are funny. You guys are killing me in the chat today.
No, like you're honestly like you're going full robot, no question. R2D2, C3PO, a bunch of other stuff. Your audio has been a little rough as of it's just not me saying it. Look in the chat.
Here, I just thought I didn't know what was going on. Tag, you're it for a minute.
All right, so usually it's me that's having the audio connection issues, and I'm still blown away that in a day in era, and I've said this like tongue in cheek before, but in a day and age where we could literally find a person in a hole in the middle of the desert, the fact that Scarf and I cannot have a successfully run podcast, paying all the money we do to the powers that be, like your Spectrums and your Time Warners, it honestly pisses me off that that's the case. Pisses me off. I didn't understand a damn thing Scarf said. I don't know if any of y'all did either. We'll just wait for him to have to repeat himself. If we're going to be talking about players of the game, I might as well go to mine real quick. Hopefully I don't start pooping off on y'all. So my player to watch, Cedric Toyshirt, that's the guy on St. Louis that I'm looking forward to seeing. He's had a great run of form as of late. He scored in 4 out of the last 5 matches. Even scored the goal against the Galaxy to beat them in St. Louis on the 1st of September. So he's a player that's got a really good run of form going on. That's the guy that I'm looking forward to seeing, Cedric Toyshirt. And for LAFC, I'm going to say David Martinez. He, too, has been on a good run of form as of late, scoring a couple of goals in his past couple of matches. And the thing that I say is really helping him flourish right now is the return of Carlos Vela, mainly from the sense that they both play the same field. Once Carlos gives that green light to Steve and the coaching staff saying, I'm ready, I'm good to go, Martinez is going to get buried in the bench and his minutes are going to be limited. So if he wants to improve that coaching staff right now, as well as Carlos Vela, now is his time to shine. And he's been shining, scoring a couple of goals in the last few games, 4 goals in all competitions. The kid can't even, I don't even know if he's able to legally drive in Los Angeles. He definitely is not old enough to go out there and drink a beer with any of his teammates, but he's the player that I'm looking forward to seeing on LAFC side. And again, Cedric Toyshirt, great run of form, 4 goals in the last 5 games. Now, Scarf, Let's hear you again. Let's start chatting.
I'm nervous. How do I
3PO?
sound? Are we okay?
Scarf 3PO, R2D scarf.
Still?
No, you're good. You're good. All right.
Oh,
Now, I'm going to
thanks,
put you
man.
back on because I don't know about the rest of the millions,
And millions.
but I didn't hear a damn thing you said. So let's just pretend like that didn't happen.
Let's try again. I'm talking about Marcel Hartel, not Rick the Model Martel. Marcel Hartel, their designated player who has 2 goals and 5 assists in 6 matches since coming over on July 18th. By the way, the same day that Cedric Toyshirt came over as well. What a day, because between those 2 guys, Philly, I know your player to watch and my player to watch. They've played in 6 or 7 matches together, and they have 7 goals and 8 assists combined in the matches that they have played together. Tons of German experience for Marcel Hartel, St. Pauli, Union Berlin, Arminia Bielefeld, FC Köln, all of these great clubs over in Germany that he has played for. Tons of goal contributions with St. Pauli in 107 matches, 59 goal contributions. Marcel Hartel, in those 7 matches that he has played, 6 matches, that he has played, 2 goals, 5 assists, and is everything to watch. Philly's got one of the boys that was brought over on July 18th. I've got the other. And the only reason that I've got Kike Oliveira is simple. I don't know where he's going to play on the pitch, Philly. He could play at wingback. He could play at forward. We don't know where Steve Cherundolo is going to use him. But what we do know is something that we have been talking about all along. When Kike Oliveira is on the pitch, we are a different club. He takes on multiple defenders and wins those matchups time and time again. He earns us corner kicks. He earns us penalty shots. He goes and gets the ball in possession when other players won't. And he has that special gear when it comes to the ball at his feet. He has been so much fun to watch since coming back from his national team stint. We've said it over and over again. I am hoping that we get Kike Oliveira down the stretch at his absolute best to keep this engine moving forward for LAFC.
I mean, I couldn't agree more. I like it when it's Bogusz, Bouanga, and Oliveira up top. I didn't think anything was wrong with our team. Look at what we did prior to anybody else coming into the lineup like Olivier Giroud. Now, I'm not going to say adding Olivier Giroud is a detriment to what we have, but think of how much more dynamic we were. We have to slow down anytime a player like Giroud is going to come out on the pitch. And the same thing is going to be said for Carlos Vela. If we want to go out there and kill people right off the bat, that's the lineup you got to go with, man. That's the convincing lineup. It's just, they operate so much faster, so much more efficiently, and there's such threats. Oliveira is just a speed demon, man. And just the emergence of Bogusz being a goal-scoring threat has been awesome because that takes a lot of the pressure off Denis Bouanga. And more importantly, with those 2 players out there scoring on either side, that enables Denis to attract the defenders up towards him. He's been dishing it off, one of the leaders in assists on this team, and those guys have been working and capitalizing on it. So it's all good stuff when that's the lineup that we have. What are we doing next? Oh, yeah, I already went into my players to watch. Keys to the game. There we go.
Keys to the match. If we have to possess, that's the bottom line. I don't think we quote unquote want to against St. Louis, but I also don't think we care. The reason why I don't think we necessarily want to possess the ball all that much is because when they don't, they're very efficient with it. So we would rather have them have the ball more often, as weird as that sounds. I just went through the possession numbers that in the 4 matches that they've either won or gotten points from in their last 5, they've been 40% and barely above that possession. But honestly, it's one of those things that I think LAFC would be just fine sitting back. I also think LAFC would be just fine if we have 60% of the possession and 22 shots and maybe 11 on target, and that's making Roman Bürki work. What we know this season is that Roman Bürki has not been nearly as good as he was last year when he was goalkeeper of the year. He has just 7 wins on the season, but they do ask a ton of him, 102 saves, which is about, 15, 18 more than we've asked of Hugo Lloris over the same amount of matches, but he has allowed 51 goals. And I think this will be an interesting time for LAFC. If they decide to possess the ball, great. But if they decide to allow St. Louis to possess it and maybe stay back and try to counter a little bit more, I think we'll be fine either way. So if we have to, possess it. But if not, don't. That's my wisdom.
Now, when you think of the city of St. Louis, what comes into mind? At least your mind, Scarf.
The Arch.
The biggest man-made monument in the United States. Excellent. Okay. What else?
I've seen games at Busch Stadium.
Okay. Baseball, getting closer to where I'm getting at with it.
Okay. We got the Cardinals, right?
Well, that would fit the baseball part. Yeah.
Okay. They used to have the Rams. They used to have the Browns. They have the Blues.
Okay. No more sports. Let's just put it that way. What else?
Budweiser.
There you go. And what is Budweiser?
A water.
In its literal sense, it's a beer. Now, my key to the game is as follows. Shotgun St. Louis. Much like one would shotgun a beer, offensively, I'm looking for LAFC to stick a knife in them quickly, turn them upside down, pop open their can, and guzzle them down. Point is, I think this is a game that we can go off and create an offensive tear. A win on the road versus FC Cincinnati was great, but a convincing win would be an utter jolt in our confidence. I absolutely think that this is the type of team that we can decimate. I 100% believe that. And I wanted to tie in my key to the game with that of obviously shotgunning a beer. And by the way, the name Budweiser, not totally original. They've been in a trademark dispute going back nearly 100 years with a brewery out of the Czech Republic. Look that up. They used to be called Budvar because of this lawsuit. They were called Budweiser. Now they're called Budvar. But I've had the privilege of trying the original Budweiser. But anyway, we're going to shotgun St. Louis by basically just sticking the knife in them. Like I said, yes?
This is where a younger Philly would have then used the prop and shotgunned the beer on the episode. Where is it?
You know what my story is with beer. You
That's
said
true.
it.
I
can't drink beer anymore unless you want to carry me around in my gout-hobbled foot. That's the problem. A younger Philly absolutely would have had no problem doing that. An older Philly, unfortunately, has a tough time getting rid of uric acid. Things that are high in purines affect me. What's high in purines? Turkey and beer. And yes, Lafferty said you can't exactly shotgun a Topo Chico. You could the seltzers. But anyway, the point is to just stick a knife in them early and just watch them bleed out. Let's put it that way.
By the way, Gout Hobbled Foot is playing the Troubadour tomorrow night. If you guys want to go check them out, heard they're really good.
Great name for a death metal band out of Norway. Love it.
All right, let's get to score predictions. I don't quite have what some of you in the chat have as 4-1. I'm going to go with 3-1. And I'm very interested to watch these two guys play, Toy Shirt and Hartel. They're going to be fun to watch. I mean, they've done so much in a short amount of time. I'm hoping they don't remind me of the play of maybe Marco Reus and Ricky Pooch. But these two guys are really good. They're going to be fun to watch. But I still think LAFC does enough to keep them off the score sheet for long enough anyway. I think we go up early. I think we may even take a 2-0 lead into halftime. We'll probably give up one just because we like to make things interesting. I like 3-1. I don't like that we're wearing the archive kits at home. I think that's not something we should be doing. I'm sorry. I think we should wear black at home. That's what we do. That's how we represent our home shirt. Wear black at BMO. We have not performed well in the archive kits. We have not performed well in the black and mold kits. I think we're better in the black, but we'll see. I've got 3-1.
Well, I like the score because I too chose 3. But on the other hand, I'm giving 0 love to the boys from the Lou. You can tell Nelly that it might be getting hot in her, but keep on your damn clothes to get the hell out of our town. One Nelly song is called Grills, where that's exactly where we're going to kick St. Louis, in the grills. They're not going to have a shot in hell at the second victory on the road against LAFC. Not in the shape and form that LAFC has been in as of late. I give no respect to this team, none whatsoever. They have not beaten us, and they will not beat us, nor will they score on us, because they have not scored on us in the 3 games that they played against us. And that is going to be a streak that continues to go on. In 3 games against St. Louis, we've scored 5 goals. They have scored 0. History repeats itself. Onto the loo with your tears in hand, going black and blue, because you're leaving LA battered and bruised. LAFC and Hugo Lloris get the clean sheet.
I don't know. I think Toy Shirt and Hartel are better than we're giving them credit for, but we'll see. I think St. Louis might be better than we're giving them credit for, but we'll see. They have scored 46 goals on the year, but have allowed 58, which I think could be their downfall, Philly. We both have them giving up 3. I like it a lot. And look, if it's 3-0, my apologies to Hugo Lloris. My apologies to the back line. Not sure about Maxime Chanot. He took a pretty.
He's not on the questionable or the injury list, Scarf.
Yeah,
for those asking, only Long is questionable as per the data today. As for out, still Murillo. Chanot is not on there, but it's also important to know Palencia will not be playing as well due to yellow card accumulation. So that we know for a fact. As far as Vela goes, I don't know that one either. I didn't actually listen to Steve's press conference, but I gather that once we know that Vela is going to be activated, we'll probably hear about it from Steve and social media first.
Yeah, if he says the words Carlos and Vela in sequential order, you definitely hear about it every time on social media. Yeah, I don't think, guys, Carlos Vela might have been a month away from being a month away. So take a deep breath on Carlos. But
I would say we're more likely to see him on decision day.
I was going to say San Jose, decision day. That's when we see Carlos. I completely agree. That's when I thought we would see him from the very start of this anyway. And I think he's going to be a 15, 20, 30-minute at most super sub if we need him at all in the playoffs. Maybe he's a guy who we bring in at that time to settle things down after we're up 2 or 3-0 to kind of salt things away. He might be a guy that we bring on for set pieces and corner kicks. Obviously, we know his acumen there. But I don't think he is going to be a regular and efficient contributor for this club in 2024. I just don't. I don't think he's there. Is he talented enough? Of course. It's Carlos flippin' Vela. I just don't know that he's there. And it takes a minute. This team is playing, like Philly mentioned, when Olivier Giroud is not on the pitch. This team is playing so much faster than he is used to. So we'll see. Ben Skolnick is on fire in the chat right now. Love you, buddy.
He's always on fire, and I'm not talking
Philly, I've got
hemorrhoids
3-1.
either.
You've got 3-0. And we're both going to be there, relatively early next season. It's our next match. Getting there like 5:30 or so. I don't know, 6 o'clock. I don't know, somewhere around there.
Is that what it takes? Is that what it is?
I think so. Check with your wife.
Yeah. To quote the great rapper from St. Louis, Nelly, he says, and I quote, "Your own destiny, create your own recipe." And we've created our own recipe here in Los Angeles. We've got a great club, great supporters, great vibe, great atmosphere, more importantly, a great team. Have we had some lulls? Sure. It is damn near impossible to go undefeated in any sport. Doesn't happen very often. More likely in football with less games, NFL that is, than the likes of soccer. Which is why when you see a team like the Invincibles from Arsenal, obviously teams like Bayer Leverkusen, those are an anomaly. But with our own recipe, we're going to go out there and add the St. Louis ingredient to our jambalaya that we're going to consume as we shotgun St. Louis tomorrow, baby. It's going to be an LAFC victory, and we're going to have another jovial pod to record for y'all on Thursday. I am damn sure of it. No respect to St. Louis. Their fans, yes. Their club, and let's
there you go. And in the chat, Jason, we'll see you tomorrow as well, as many of you in the chat. Lafferty, Rob, Soccer USA, Ben, Cougar, Football Food, everybody who joined us. Isis, we love you. Fat Kid, who's new to the chat, welcome, love you. Everybody else who's in there, thank you.
It's not necessarily a real name.
Thank you so much for your support. whether it's on YouTube, on Twitter, or anywhere else where you access us on social media. We appreciate you. We'll be back with episode 331 tomorrow.
St. Losers. I like that, Ben. And that's the perfect way to get out of this pod. Let's go LAFC and let's go Mets.
Bye-bye.